Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Overhauled with the Diesel Queen. Today I have on here a very special guest. We have been mutuals on social media pages for many years. I'd like to introduce you to Missy. If you want to be a mechanic, there are a lot of places that will pay for your education and pay for a starter set as tools. And pay you. Like, there's so many opportunities right now. Like, those opportunities were not fucking available when I first started into the industry. No. And just in the last, 5 or 6 years, it's been like John Deere's doing it. Like, John Deere dealerships do it. Cat does it. Like, I didn't know this, but now International does it. There's so many places that, like you said, pay you an hourly wage, pay your schooling, and pay for a starter set of tools. Like, you can't get much better than that. That's literally them handing you all of the tools and shit that you need to be successful in this industry. And this is like, I totally got off topic, but that's like why, like, I have have a lot of respect for Miranda, because she was literally the opposite, right? Yeah. She literally her grandma was actually a diesel mechanic, which is cool as fuck. She literally just started in a shop. Right? No schooling, nothing. And she was literally just thrown to the wolves with it. But she's one of the rare cases that fucking swam like a motherfucker. Yep. She didn't drown or nothing. She fucking worked hard and she pushed, and she is now a service manager for a major Caterpillar dealership. That's I believe awesome. She was. And then she went back to turning wrenches because she hated sitting at a desk. But she's just, she's another woman that's just fucking badass. And she puts in the work and she puts in the time, and she doesn't expect to get treated differently besides the bathrooms, right? Like, or, uniforms would be nice, right? But she doesn't expect any special treatment. She doesn't expect anything. She just works. Yeah. And that's what I tell people all the time. Is I get young women all the time like, well, how do I be successful? Like, how do I earn the respect of my coworkers? Because women have this very, very skewed image of the diesel industry, right? And I'm sure you've seen this. Like, this is not, like, obviously there are some sexism things, right? You can run into that in the industry. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. But for the most part, this industry is not some like scary evil thing, right? It is not. These men don't have fucking fangs and claws. Like, they're not. That's not how it is. But yeah, like, right, like they're just fucking guys, right? And for the most part, you start in a shop, and they're kind of like your extended family, right? Yeah, like, it's not some like evil entity. And that's what I've told women, like, if the only thing you need to get respect, like, if you're working in the right shop for the right boss with the right moral values, right? Yeah. The only thing you need to gain respect in this industry is to show up, work your hours, and try hard. Put in the effort. And they don't even care if you fuck up. They don't care. They do. But they don't.
They probably want to see you fuck up so they can see you handle it, and then that also gains you the respect.
Yeah, well, they want to see how you handle your fuck ups. They want to see if you were honest about your fuck ups, right? They want to see if you try and cover shit up. They want to see your work ethic and see your work and see the quality that you're putting out. Yeah. Most bosses would much rather have you take longer on a job and get it done right the first time. Yeah. Then rush through it, try and cover shit up, have it leave, and then have the customer pissed off later, right? Oh, yeah. And as long as you make an attempt to do that, like, you're actively attempting and actively working on, like, staying busy, working, not being on your phone. That's what I had one boss tell me, is like, he's like, because I told him, I'm like, dude, like, I fuck so much shit up. Like, I feel bad. And this was like within the first couple of years of the industry, right? Like, the first year you work in this industry, you fuck up everything you touch. Like, I fucking swear, like, everything you touch is a learning experience, right? And he's like, you know what? every time I walk by, you're doing something. You're working. He's like, what else can I ask for? What else can I ask for?
I never went to school. I never went to school. I literally, I went to school for art because I was forced to. I was adopted. My parents thought that they saw all this quality of art and I could succeed, and they wouldn't allow me to be me until I was an adult. Like there are there's so many personalities like in a shop, and like I've learned that with their education and lack of my education, and there sometimes are differences. So like like I said, in my shop, like they specialize us. So if you want to specialize in something, that ends up being your focus in your study. And how I do it, because I'm a burnout normally. Like I have 2 children. I have like so much going on. So like for me to retain information, I need to write it down. I need to color it. I need to put an explanation. Like I work a lot harder. I write a lot of books. So like that's like what I do is I take pictures and I take film, and then like I was asked by internationals to start doing TikToks because they thought it would be a good promotion. So, now I'm like, all right, well, I'll add that to the plate. And, as you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So, the TikToks that I've been able to create, they're old content. It's literally, I've never made a TikTok. I'm making one now for my son. So I was pregnant in the shop. But, so that's the only TikTok that I'm actually physically making. That's actually, well, I'm taking contact. No, see, I had never made a TikTok.
Honestly, it's all pretty much content. All of my TikToks of when I was in the shop were from just recordings that I set my phone somewhere and just recorded shit. Most of them are that. Every now and then, right, I get a funny audio that I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking perfect.
And then you brainstorm.
Right? And I'm like, oh, this is perfect for a shop. So I'm like, I'm using this. But what people don't understand, it's like I wasn't doing most of this on company time or on a customer time. It was during my breaks, or I would come in early in the mornings, or I'd stay late, or come in on the weekends. Like, it's not, I am a big advocate of not wasting customer money. I am a huge advocate on that. Like, if you're on the clock and your company or your fucking, your customer is paying $145 an hour if you work on their shit, don't waste too much time, right?
Right.
Obviously, if it's like 5 seconds here or there to make a video or like set your phone up, like it's whatever. But listen, there's a particular girl on TikTok, and I don't mean to shit on her because I appreciate that she's trying to like be a woman in the industry and shit like that, and I appreciate that. But she goes live while she's working on other people's cars, and she's talking to the camera on the live the entire time she's trying to diagnose it or work on it. And I'm like, that is setting such a bad image. If you want to do that on your own shit, on your own time, by all means. Or if your company is paying you to do that, right? And that's like part of what you're doing. But if a customer is paying you to work on their like you can't be I mean, this girl wastes so much time talking to the camera and answering comments and shit on live while she's at work. I'm granted it is her own shop and I get that, but if I was a customer and I saw that, I would be so mad.
So how long did it take you? Like,
right?
In real life, not in
I would be so pissed. Like, I would be pissed.
God. No.
And it's
it's the same thing. So like I take all the video for me, like, so I'm very proud of all of my work. Like I want to be better than the factory. So that's my hashtag is better than factory. That's my goal right there. And so every build or anything that I see is just I mean, out of this world. Like, I'm sure you've seen all of the crazy things, and then you can repair it, and it's like a before and after, and it's like, love it. And like, I appreciate, and I'm so passionate for my work, and like, I love to see all the people's, like, poking of the holes, and they're like, oh, this doesn't work, and the truck has no start, da da da. Well, if you stop poking your wires,
yeah,
hey,
well, there's such a big difference between making an educational video and doing something like that, like what you're doing, like you're like there's such a big difference between trying to make a video for educational purposes or to help people.
Yeah.
Right. Versus spending your entire day live on TikTok bullshitting with people.
Right. That's
like different. There's such a huge difference.
Yeah. Like, I would never be able to do that. I would
never do that.
My very first TikTok, I sat my phone right on the fender, and I did an ICP sensor. It was just a pigtail, no biggie. Right. But my boss was sitting on the other side of the fender watching onto my phone, watching me do a high speed film. And I'm talking to him and just doing my thing, talking to him. And I'm doing it literally the whole time. I did my job in the same amount. I was very efficient, and I was able to do a high speed film. And for me, like, a high speed is to set it and forget it. Like, it's one of the best ways to self-educate yourself as well. But I do a lot of that. They don't like that stuff, but unfortunately, they're not going to get my best performance without having certain jobs high sped. It's only through education purposes as well, and then through the before and afters for passionate purposes. Like, hello.
Well, you love what you do, and you're passionate about your work, and you want to share it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I am, like, but obviously if you take your career seriously, you're going to take steps to where sharing your passion of your career is not impeding your career, right?
So the way I call it is when my kids go to bed, I get naughty and I make TikTok. My daughter, she's like, Mom, don't say that. It makes me feel weird. I was like, yeah, but I am. I feel like I'm being naughty because like,
right.
I'm up late at night. I'm like doing TikToks. I'm 40, and I'm like, and then I keep repeating the dang music, and I'm like, no, go back. And I'm like, I hope nobody's hearing me do this.
I feel that. I used to feel that way. So like, the very last shop, the last construction shop I worked at, they were super supportive of it. They didn't give a fuck what I took pictures of, what I recorded, what I took pictures of. Like, I already said that or repeated that. They didn't care as long as it was not affecting my work, right? They didn't give a fuck. They knew I was making TikToks and videos and pictures and shit like that. They knew that. I had a fucking key and a fucking passcode to the building, like every fucking employee there and mechanic. So I would come in early and do it, or stay late, or come in on the weekends, or do it during breaks. Or like you said, it literally takes 5 seconds. Like, men spend more time in the bathroom than we spend setting a camera up for a video, right? I'm super socially challenged sometimes, and like, people don't think that, right? Because I have a bunch of following, but I grew up in a really small town. So socializing is not really my forte. So I started in this new ag shop when I moved to Indiana. And I felt like I was doing something naughty, like trying to film myself or take or sneak pictures of what I was doing, because I didn't want people to see what I was doing, because I wasn't sure if it was okay or not. And I'm like, oh no, this is embarrassing. No. Like, it is, you feel bad about it, but like, I don't know. It's just, I didn't honestly feel like I really belonged in that shop. Not that there was anything wrong with the guys or my bosses or whatever. Like, the owner was kind of interesting, but not a bad guy, right? Like, I just didn't really feel like that was the shop I needed to work in, right? That was not my place. That wasn't my home.
Yeah. A lot of, like, I have There will always be one. There will always be two. There may be a few. There may be more than I know. I don't know. But I know that, people don't like what I do. People feel threatened by me all the time. I don't understand it because the way I explain it, like, my life is a mess. I'm a hot mess. Like, I love everything about my life.
That's what people hate about you, is because you're chaotic.
Pretty. But so what I say is I have
hate you because you're pretty.
All right, so I have pet turf, right? Everybody says the grass is greener in everybody else's yard, right? No, my yard is dirt. That's what it literally is. I love playing in dirt. Like, I am a dirty girl by day. Like, but then I put this turf over it, and it's pet turf, and it's so beautiful. You can't damage it, you can't tarnish it, you can't do it. And this is the shit that everybody sees on the surface, right? But they don't see the inside. And unfortunately, I feel like people, try to make my life worse in areas sometimes at work. Secretly, silly silent harassments. Like, this is my umbrella, and it's the umbrella of harassment. And all of the rain are all different raindrops of harassment. And like, I literally can't even express to you, from being 20 years old to now being 40. And the first 15 years of my career in this industry was a living hell. I don't know why I stayed, but I'm so glad I did. But even beyond that, like, I had a guy put a rear end under my school bus because he thought, because I was blonde and I was like, I'm always happy, I'm always excited. Like, he thought I wasn't going to do a walk around. Oh boy. Well, he got in trouble. So he actually literally springs and a pumpkin, pushed it underneath my bus with a lift. I mean, with a
why? Was it just like a normal prank, or was he just trying to be a dick?
No, he was being a dick, right? So he thought that I wasn't going to do a walk around. He thought I would run into it, but he got in trouble. I had so many. I mean, the guys are horrible, and so like. It's not all like, so, all right. I was thrown to the wolves when I first got to my shop. My boss that I have today wasn't my boss when I first got there. In 2018, he took over and he became my mentor in 2020. So when I was hired in 2016, I had this awful guy. He was very hard. And he threw me to the wolves. And I am now currently going through my entire pregnancy, and I'm actually dating how far along I was in each picture for a TikTok. And I was doing a front cover for my first job when I got in there, and I was 16 weeks pregnant. No, I was a month pregnant already. And I can't even explain to you, I made so much more respect and got so much more respect in that shop because I acted as if I was not pregnant through doing jobs, not through PPE or anything like that. Like, I work through all of that stuff, but I ended up leaving 3 days before I gave birth. So I did 40 weeks full term. So there was a level like of respect that I gained from them. And then there is like a level of, I don't know what it is. I don't know the word. I don't know if it's jealousy, animosity, or hatred, or like I don't get special treatment. There is no girl bathroom in my facility. There's one female bathroom in the facility. It's in the offices. Other than that, I have urinals. I don't have a locker. I don't have uniforms. I don't have a bathroom. There's so many things that, like, especially during my pregnancy, they didn't supply my uniforms after I got to a 36 because it was too expensive. So they put me in bodysuits in 100-degree weather, which you'll see in the video as well. So like there's a lot of hardships and barriers that, I've had to overcome in different areas of harassment and stuff like that. But like beyond having like, that to me is still harassment because they weren't fulfilling my pants. I was very uncomfortable wearing wife beaters. I was very exposed. And then now going forward with some of the guys and stuff, I've had the sexual assault. I've had the sexual harassment, had silent harassment, quid pro quo harassment. I'm all underneath this building. These people are not there, by the way. anymore, because I did a cease and desist on one of them and another one parted ways. But like, this is like a very real like thing. And like, I don't want to ever scare girls away, but like, I really, really love, like supporting them to stay also. So like, I like to try to get girls to come into my dealerships. So like, if I'll scout you out online and I'll help you like go and get into the application process, and I'll hold your hand the whole way. Like, I'll even call your manager up and be like, hey, just want to introduce myself. I have a girl here, and it's so exciting. But then I have to say, hey, I just want to let you know, it's not all flowers and rainbows. You have to dedicate yourself. You have to be selfish. And that's I don't know how else to say it, but it's about you. It's about you doing your job, focusing on yourself, getting your job done, and doing it better than the last time. And like, it's the best micro accomplishments in the world if you can just focus on yourself and actually accomplish all these jobs. It's the best feeling in the world. And that is a huge way that I know I've gained respect, even from the people that I may not see the respect necessarily all the way. But I do feel that when people do witness what you do and how your work ethic is and how you handle those, stressful situations and stuff like that. And people are going to be watching, and definitely they're going to judge you. But I feel like there's always going to be one, just that one.
Well, yeah. You're never going to please everybody, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to please everybody. I personally, and I talking with other women in the industry, I completely blame this on the fact of the location I grew up. I personally have not had sexual harassment ever.
Oh, thank God for you.
I've had one instance with one man that we went on a training thing together on, but I'm hard-headed, right? I'm stubborn. But that was a one-time thing, right? And I shut that shit down fucking fast. And he was by no means a star employee. And I've always not believed in HR. Like, I've always been one of those people that if I can't handle it with me and my immediate supervisor or me and that person, I don't need to work here, right? There's 10 other shops that are hiring. I'm not going to put up with it.
Right, exactly.
My immediate supervisor did end up firing him, actually, for not even the same reasons. He was going to bring it up to that guy, but, this guy had a track record of showing up drunk to work, having a lot of accidents. The Monday after we got back from training, he actually wrecked a dozer into a wash bay door because he didn't have the door all the way up. And this was constant things with this guy, and he ended up getting fired. But besides that one instance, that was a very, very short-lived instance. I've never had sexual harassment. I mean, obviously you work with men, right? Yeah. There's joking and there's shit talk, banter and stuff like that. That's different. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the same.
But I completely blame that on the location I grew up.
Yeah.
I completely blame that on growing up in Wyoming, right? We're ranching communities. We're a low population. Women, I mean, it's called the equality state for a reason. And it's because I genuinely believe it's because with the ranching communities and shit like that, women were, it's more normal and more common for women to be doing a man's job.
Ah, that's so nice to hear. It really is, because it's oh my God, it's foreign, especially again, I was a cheerleader. I also coached, so I cheerleaded up until I was 25 on an open division team and competed. And then when I had my daughter, I ended up being a coach. So I literally was dressed up in my uniform, going to practice or going to coach practice. And people never took me seriously when I was younger. The past 5 or 6 years, I feel like the industry is more acceptance. Especially after Me Too, I feel like Me Too had to happen first for us to be in the direction that we're heading now. Because I feel like, oh God, the beginning of my career was it was treading. I was literally thrown in the middle of the ocean, and I was there with no life preserver, just trying to survive. And I survived only because of my passion, because I knew deep down inside, I'm a problem solver, and I love electric, and I love things. I love to learn. I love to learn every single day, and I get paid to learn. And it's the most amazing thing in the world to me to know that I didn't have to go to school. I just went to work, and they pay for my education, and they pay for me to learn every single day. It's the most amazing feeling in the world. I love it so much. And like, I love to try to reach out to other girls, but I do also find men that have these similar passions, and I try to bring them into the industry too. I'm like, oh, you don't like cars? Oh, great. Guess what? Do you want to try trucks? They're so much easier.
Yep.
The bigger the equipment, I feel, is easier.
To an extent. Yeah. So, well, if you're going between like automotive and semis, definitely. I think semis are way fucking easier than automotive.
Yeah.
I also think equipment is easier than automotive, but I do not think semis are easier than, or I don't think semis are harder than equipment. I think equipment is harder than semis.
Yeah.
Just because of the, it's not that like, it's just the complexity of the different hydraulic systems is really the only difference. Everything else is the same. Right. Everything else is the same. But yeah, I try to advocate and tell girls that, like, don't be a pushover, and they'll learn pretty fast. Like I had so many guys that I met in the industry between like training classes and stuff like that told me I was intimidating. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it's just my personality. I'm kind of low key, right? I'm kind of low key. I'm kind of, I have a resting bitch face that I don't mean to, but I do. And I've had guys tell me like every shop I've started working in, every fucking shop I've started working in, everybody is scared to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
For like the first 2 months. And especially after the Me Too thing. Yeah. They were terrified of like looking at me wrong, or like me thinking that they're looking at me wrong, or saying something inappropriate or wrong or anything. And like, once they realize, it's like, dude, my sense of humor is like the fucking same. And my mouth is probably worse than yours. Then they're fine, right? Then they're cool. They're like, oh, this chick's fucking cool. She's like one of us. She's cool. But that's always what I strive to be, right? I strive to be viewed as part of their team. Right. And one of the guys. Right. Yep. So, and it meshes, it makes a team work so much better. So like you, as a girl, you can't get caught up in like, one of my coworkers looked at my butt for 5 seconds the other day. They're guys. Mm-hmm. They're going to look to an extent, right? Obviously there's too much, right? There is such thing as too much. It can be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. There is such thing as stuff like that, but you gotta let some shit slide, right? You gotta let some shit roll off your shoulders, because if you start making them feel like they're in a hostile environment with you, and that they can't approach you for anything, they're scared to look at you, that's not fun for anybody. Yeah. Nope, not at all. Yeah, and that's like telling them to fuck off. Yeah. Like just telling them like, dude, fuck off. Yeah. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to work. Goes a long way. You can say that to them. Yeah. Like, don't be scared to fucking tell them that. Yeah. They're going to appreciate that more than they're going to appreciate you not saying anything to them. Right. And then them getting a call from HR. Yeah. Like, that's just, it's a hostile HR to me. I've always told people, like, obviously use it if you have to, but it's a last resort. Yes. Right. Yeah. And there are so many shops hiring, and I think that's another part of why women are becoming more accepted into this industry, is because right now most shops, they need anybody, right? Yeah. They need anybody that can work or is willing to work. So they don't give a shit if you are male or female, non-binary, the letter people, race. They don't fucking care. They don't care. They just want someone who's willing to work and shows up on time and doesn't make fucking excuses. That's all they want. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's becoming more acceptable. Important. Yeah. Well, the important part is exactly what you're expressing, is that like, you need to draw the line first. So like, if you're uncomfortable, or if somebody like says anything, however you can say it, whether it's to go fuck off, or you're making me uncomfortable,
or dude, fucking go away. Like whatever it is, like as long as you can handle that first, like that's important. And you know, I know that like myself when I'm a younger self, and I know all the girls too, like they don't have voices like that. Like they're not that powerful yet. And like
they're like scared they're gonna get fired or something about it. It's like, dude, you're not gonna get fired. If anything, your boss is gonna be like, I need to keep this bitch around. Because she can handle her fucking self, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and no,
she's not gonna be a constant problem for me because she can handle herself.
Right. Yeah. No, and that actually is a really good sign of work ethic and for respect as well for your own self. Because like if you have no respect for yourself, it's gonna definitely show within your character inside the company when you're performing your work.
Yep. And confidence, you know, confidence is a lot of the work. And you know, obviously that takes years to build confidence in yourself and stuff like that. I was blessed with the John Deere dealership that, you know, I don't even honestly count the 4 months that I spent at International into my experience. I've never counted it. I've always just said, you know, I don't count my schooling into my experience years. I don't count International, the time I spent at International. I just count when I started at John Deere. Yeah. And you know, that shop raised me. They raised me in a sense, right? I could not have asked for a better atmosphere to work in. Not only did they have another female that worked there as a mechanic on the crane side who was not a great mechanic, but they you know, already had lockers, you know, area figured out for the girls, and they had another bathroom and things like that, like, you know, they had uniforms figured out, which I just wear guy shirts. I don't have a problem wearing guy shirts, things like that. But just the family atmosphere of that shop was amazing. And the guys, like, they were all super supportive and helpful. And, you know, they treated me just like they would treat a male apprentice showing up. Even though I showed up as level 1, not really an apprentice, you know, I had a mentor that I worked next to for a year, 2 of them, and I just was a sponge, right? I absorbed all the information I possibly could from them. And that was, I thank God for that shop, because they gave me the confidence and the work at, like, they taught me how to survive in this industry. And they gave me that confidence to, like, then the very rare times I did have an issue with a man. Like I said, I've only had one sexual thing that was a problem. The other guy, the one of 2 negative male encounters I've had, was an old guy that fucked shit up all the time. And he was mad because all the jobs that he had been given before I started there were starting to get funneled to me instead. And he was just shitty about it. He was just shitty. And he never really said anything mean to me, but he was just standoffish shitty. And he actually got fired too, because he fucked up so much shit. I didn't even say anything to my boss about that. My boss didn't even know me and him had a problem. And he ended up getting fired because he fucked shit up. So really, the only people I've had problems with ended up getting fired because they were bad fucking employees in the first place. Right. So,
yeah. And you just happen,
you know, you walk into a shop and you have that confidence of, like, I'm here to work. And if you don't like me, it really sucks to be you. Yeah. If you walk in and you have that confidence, for the most part, the guys be like, she's cool, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Confidence definitely is huge in the job, because I mean, without it, you're going to be running around with your chicken, like, you know, your head cut off, you know, and actually talking about confidence. So they just came back with the rodeo in International. So I was able to go there and witness it. And then they let me be a part of it in my own, you know, category. Not doing what they were doing, but I got to do 2 tests, which was really, really cool. And, you know, I was able to take all that confidence that I had been working for and working towards just in the past 2 decades. And then specifically for starting and charging system is what I ended up doing for my test, my faux rodeo, to, you know, kind of get my feet wet to know what it was like. They were so nice to do this for me. And just to know that I went into the job and for a split second, I started like, oh my God, what am I doing? Where do I go? Oh my God, what do I, I'm like thinking in my head because I'm like, okay, I gotta ground myself and like take a deep breath. And then I went right in it and like I did really, really good. And that confidence is very important. And honest to God, I'm not even kidding you. The confidence came from having my mentor, Joe, because I have been literally working specifically doing beta for Pico on the starting and charging relay circuits for international. I've been working my ass off at trying to have this entire full understanding of theory, concept, and like electric in this was my test. And I'm so proud of myself. And I like literally took a video of the guy reading my results. And I'm like, oh, I need to video this for my boss because like, I'm so proud of myself because, I know that was the test for me to know how much work I did put into it, how much dedication, how much headache, how much crying, how much possible wrench tossing around or walking away or, having moments to like just walk away in jobs. And like that moment was so superior for me. And I'm like so grateful that I was able to have it and be able to share it with my mentor, because if it wasn't for him, I would never have been able to be at the level that I'm at today to be able to have succeeded in that test the way I did. So it's pretty rad to have like people that are there to see you succeed and help you be there and build the confidence. It's super important.
Well, and it's important for, that like shops that do that for all their employees and hold on to their employees. You can always tell, right?
Yeah.
I always ask shops before I work there or work at shops. I always ask them. I don't ask them what their return around rate is. I don't ask them about any of that, right? Because they're going to give you some fucking bullshit line excuse, right? Yeah. What I do is I walk through the shop when I take my tour and I ask everybody how long they've worked there.
Yeah.
And, if you've got a majority of them are between the 4 to 5 year and up mark, that's probably a good shop to work at.
Yeah.
But if you've got like two that are above 5 years, and the rest are lower, that's not a good shop to work at. You don't want to work at that shop, right?
Right.
But a lot of that is like people stay where they feel supported and they stay where they feel wanted and supported. And, it's kind of like a relationship in a sense, right? You stay where you feel like you're growing and you're supported and it's a positive experience for you. Obviously, as a mechanic, you're going to have days that you like question why the fuck you picked this as a career, right? We all have been there. We've all been there. We're like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself?
It happens.
I fucking hate this shit. I'm fucking so mad at this shit right now. Like all of us have had that, right? And then the next year, like, oh, I'm getting to do an engine rebuild. This is so exciting. I love my job, right? It's like kind of a roller coaster sometimes, but
it is. It's a true roller coaster. It keeps you on your feet though. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
And like another big part of our job is, our skin, and like that's huge to me. So like barrier creams, sunblocks. I work outside. I don't work inside as much because of just people like ether, brake clean and stuff like that. And I like my lungs and I want to live my life. So I choose to build forts outside and like I literally paint myself white with baby bomb sunscreen. And like I literally just build forts all day long. I stay away from the madness for the most part. It's like, and I think that's what I like about my shop too, is it family owned, 40 years, like one person has been there 25 years, 30 years, like all these people have been here for 15, 10. It's crazy. I love it, and so that definitely important to me, but just the ability for me to walk off out of the shop and go work, X amount away from the shop and be able to set up a big piece of wood and some blankets or whatever and just be left alone to do my job. Like that's so important. Like I don't want somebody up my ass. Well, I'll tell you, I don't care if you watch. Like
it's the micromanaging.
I don't want to be
or the like wanting to help you with everything. I've worked with guys like that too. Like they have good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Like they want to help you and they want to show that they like care that you're there and that they support that you're there. But that just turns into overly helping. It's like, dude, I'm not helping this, right? I got this.
Yes, I lost respect in my shop because of that. Because there was this one person that felt that if I couldn't, that he could, right? And, you know, that put a big, huge end on that. And like, you know, I started doing all my drive lines by myself. People literally would stop brunching to watch me do this stuff because they were like, oh my God, she's not asking for help. And nobody's jumping in on me either. And so the biggest thing was like, people were doing that when I was pregnant. And I'm like, no. Like my blinders.
I'll ask for help, right? If I need it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And until I ask you for help, please don't jump in. If I ask you to teach me something, teach me and don't do it for me. So I did have a moment like a couple of years where that was happening, and that's a real thing. And I got caught up in it too because
they mean well, right?
Yeah. And then right. And then until somebody was like, hey, you know, I need you to see what I'm seeing. And this is not because of you. It's a success that I want to see you in your job, and then the respect from the people around you as well. So, you know, I took a lot of time to work through that as well. You know, like it's crazy how many lives you can live in a shop and still continue to grow and get paid to grow every day. It's awesome. But it's, you know, the environment is very important, and support is very important as well. And then also for girls, we got to keep our skin, you know, bearable too. Because when you get oil like smeared all over your face, it's kind of like, oh no, what do I do? How do I get that off? You know, like it's very
not intentionally, guys.
Not
for all the haters. We don't do it fucking on purpose. Trust me, it's a surprise to us too when we walk in the bathroom and look in the mirror and our face is covered in grease, right? If we're surprised, we're just as surprised as you are. Okay.
Yeah. So I literally will not touch my face. I put sunscreen on, and that will bariate it. So all throughout the day, somebody will be like, "Oh, you got something?" I'm like, yeah, just let it ride. Because if I touch it and mush it into my pore, guess what? I'm going to walk in here with a pimple tomorrow.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, yeah, just, you know, I always let it ride. But I'll tell you, one of my girlfriends, her name is Steph, and she works for an international, and she got a face full of oil, and she wasn't going to take a picture. And one of her coworkers was like, no, you need to take a picture and post this. She literally had white marks right here, and everything else was covered in oil. It was one of the highlights of my day because I'm like, girl, you're wearing safety protection and like getting dirty, and I hope you had fun doing it.
Yep. I've been there. I have not done it with engine oil, so it wasn't as noticeable, but I have gotten, especially in my younger days when I was dumb, I have gotten completely baptized, is what we called it, baptized in hydraulic oil multiple times. And I've had like final drives on excavators. I don't know why I did this. I've done these 1,000 fucking times. I know that you have to pull the top fucking plug out, right? But I was being stupid and I was being lazy. I'm like, I'm just going to pull this check plug out just to check it. Well, it was over full. No. And that nasty fucking dark ass gear oil is all pressurized, right? And it was over full, so it fucking spat it all over my face, and I had like this nasty, like silvery black speckles all over my face. But I never cared about any of that. I was a mechanic that would just dive into a job. I didn't care how dirty the machine was. I didn't care. I started wearing gloves though because I have eczema, and diesel fuel and coolant and overly used engine oil will irritate the living fuck out of my skin. Dust and dirt will irritate it. Like, because I have eczema like all the way down my forearms, my hands, and I had to start wearing gloves because of that. And then obviously on social media, then you get the people, oh, you're wearing bitch mittens. It's like, yeah, I have a fucking skin condition that, you know, I don't want to get fucking skin cancer that my fucking father has. So yeah, no, I'm not going to clean my hands with brake clean. I am going to wear gloves. Like, I had long sleeves. I always had long sleeve work shirts just for that reason.
The stereotypes, you know, And that's the whole thing. Like, I always had a conflicting thing. Am I a mechanic or am I a technician? I know I'm both. Okay. So, but International said, all right, if you're going to be doing pictures and videos, like, please, wear a scratch proof belt, wear your glasses, wear your gloves, and, your uniform to be nice and stuff like that. And that's totally like appropriate. So I actually started wearing gloves more so because of that. Then I started doing clutches underneath of like the big IS 15s, and I started wearing high vis gloves and went through my high speeds. You could see where my hands were and what I was doing, and I was like, oh, this is pretty great. I used to like black gloves because of the same reason, like people would like, oh, what are you wearing those for? Blah, 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 and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know what?
But if you don't wear gloves and your hands are dirty, then they say you did it on purpose and you're just faking it. It's
and I don't need to show you my hands for you to judge me on what I do for a daily job and how hard I work. Like that. Right. It has never been, and that actually has been my entire life. People are like, well, let me see your hands. Well, do you want to see my bitten off nails or do you want to see my acrylic nails? Because, like there's different times in my life that my hands look pretty. And then there are other times where I'm like, ugh, and it's, it's just what it is, whatever I'm dealing with in my life and stuff. But I do wear them as much as I can nowadays because of all of those reasons. But I am definitely a lot better with my hair. Like I end up, so I had a lot of breakage, so I'm growing some of it out. But like even now, like I literally pull everything back into a bun and I wrap it, and then I cover my entire head and wrap it in a bun. And like, I don't care. I used to not care. That's the problem. So I used to be the girl I have tons of videos, dragging the ponytail on the ground, dragging it through oil, no creeper for me. Like I have a helper, and it's occasionally that I will grab him as my helper and I'll get in there and something will get tangled up in it, regardless of how I have my hair. But I've been paying more attention to that because, guys don't know because they don't cut their hair or they cut their hair where we don't. There's a lot of differences that there's a lot of stereotyping still going on that, I mean, you and I are definitely breaking because of who we are and what we are as women. But there's so many more mindsets that need to change out there.
Dude, YouTube people and Facebook people are the fucking worst. Like YouTube especially, they are fucking savages. Oh my God. I have one video. I don't know why this video has gone viral, but this one particular video has gone viral on all of my fucking pages. Every time I post it, it goes viral. And all it is I'm wearing a tank top. I have obviously you can see I'm not very well endowed, right? But I'm wearing a tank top and work jeans. And I'm sitting in my truck and I pan my camera up and then smile at my do this. And I have black on my fingers because I was working on, I just got off work. My hair's up, right? Tank top, dirty work jeans. And I literally just pan up. And it's sort of a thirst trap, right? I could see why people could kind of be mad about it a little bit. But every fucking comment, I posted on YouTube because I just started doing shorts. And I posted that fucking video on YouTube and every goddamn, it went viral naturally. Every fucking comment on there. This is fake. Clearly this is fake. Clearly this is fake. Clearly she's not really a mechanic. Clearly this is fake. Clearly this is staged. It's if you guys go to my channel, you would see that I am quite literally a mechanic.
I love it. I actually no, I love that. I love hearing that so much. And you want to know why? Is because they're not sold. They are so fucked in their head that they cannot believe it's real. And that's too bad for them. It's too bad.
Yeah, it's, I do have a couple of followers, a little group of followers that have been following me from the beginning, right? Long before I did modeling, long before I did any of that stuff. And they'll fucking attack these people for me.
Yeah,
half the time, I don't even have to fucking attack these people, right? My fucking followers are bro, you're a freaking idiot, right? And they curse them out in the comments. I'm yes. Team Diesel Queen.
Yeah, right.
Melissa doesn't even have to get banned for speaking my mind in the comment section, right? Like, other people are doing it for me. Yes.
No, that's the best feeling. That really is. I've definitely had a couple of those run-ins. I have a couple of girls that don't like me, and I don't have to post myself. I could simply post my thumb with a cut and just say, wow, I can't believe I just got cut by Cummins paint. And I'm seeking for attention. I'm like, no, I'm actually looking to see how many other people got cut with Cummins paint too.
I mean, to an extent, like, what people don't understand is, to an extent, we're creators, right? We would not be able to create content and post content and do what we do if we didn't get views, right? That is literally the entire fucking concept of social media. That is the fucking concept of social media. So to come up in my comments and be like, you're just doing it for views. Yeah. Why do you think everybody's on TikTok?
Right.
Every single person. It doesn't matter what you're posting. If you're posting on a social media platform, you are doing it.
Yeah.
To some extent, for attention or views or likes. Like, literally, this is my business. I make money off of this. Yeah. Obviously, really? That's the best. That's the best you have to come at me with is, oh, you're just doing it for views. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, I didn't intentionally get dirty just to get views. But I am a creator on social media. That is literally what I do.
Yeah.
Right? That's literally what I do. That's literally the entire fucking concept of social media. So just because you could post the same video and get 2 likes and I post it and I get 4,000 likes doesn't make my shit any different. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm sorry I grinded for 10 years on social media to get the following that I have.
Yep.
Like, my bad. I put in the work to fucking get what I have.
And that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. You got to put in the work to get the work back.
All right. Before we end, this is your time to tell everybody, if they want to follow you on social media or find you on social media, what's your tags? And
you can follow me on dieselgirl_L on Instagram, and then on TikTok I am Diesel Girl Missy. You can find me Diesel Girl Missy or Diesel Girl Missy Albin or Missy Albin. You can put anything and Google me, Missy Albin. ASE, International Trucks, Fleet Maintenance, Fleet Owner Magazine. And you can read any of my articles and feature covers and stuff. And I'm so excited.
You just put me in a good mood. You're so happy.
I'm like,
can you adopt me? Can I just come live with you? Can you adopt me? Is that an option?
I'm telling you, you're like my little sister. Yeah, so Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, Diesel Girl, Model Diesel Girl, Model Melissa Albin. You can find me anywhere.